Hello, fellow movie, TV, and entertainment fans. This is Ray, and this is the Fandom Realm. It's time for another episode, and just as a reminder, I will only be doing podcasts for the foreseeable future. So if you can't watch, you can always listen and start out by taking a look and searching for us on Google Podcasts. And we may be up on some other venues as well. Just to update the schedule a little, there will be a Rings of Power Episode 5 podcast coming out either Monday or Tuesday. So keep an eye out for that. Now, for the Episode 5 of the Fandom Realm, I'm going to look at the new Star Wars series on Disney Plus, Andor, Episodes 1, 2, and 3. Basically, they released the first 3 episodes all together. There will be some spoilers, so just be aware. So to get started, I have just one question. We are eventually going to see some Star Wars in Star Wars, correct? I've watched reactor after reactor, and they are all just raving about Andor. I'll be honest, I don't know where the love is coming from. I absolutely loved Rogue One and have been impatiently waiting for the release of Andor, especially after the disappointment of Obi-Wan Kenobi. The wait was not worth it, at least not yet in the first 3 episodes. The 3rd episode did start to turn around and get a little bit better. I was much more interested in it, but the other 2 episodes I thought were really weak. Now I'm going to start with some of the good. This is a Star Wars movie or a Star Wars series, and they do some things really well. The stagecraft, the effects, the cinematography, the locations they use, the music are all excellent. Top of the line. You cannot complain about that. But those are things that Star Wars always does really well, even when they don't do other things well. Next, I am going to start out and talk about Diego Luna. I really like Diego Luna. I like his character of Cassian Andor. I like the fact they're looking at a spy series here and looking at his background. His performance so far in the first 3 episodes, very good. Nothing to complain about there. I'm also a huge fan of Stellan Skarsgård, but we don't really get to see him. Not until basically the end of episode 3. He plays Luthen, who actually comes to recruit Cassian. I already love their chemistry, and they've only been on screen for a few minutes at this point. I do also like the fact that we are introduced to Kenari, which looks to be Cassian's home planet. It seems like something tragic has happened there. It looks to be maybe a mining planet. And there looks to only have been kids left on this planet, so we don't know what happened. I'm sure that's going to be part of the story that is revealed. So I'm liking that backstory as well. We are also introduced to Marva. Marva actually ends up being a character who had come to Kenari and found Cassian. And she's going to take him off the planet when he was a young boy. Basically, she becomes the mother figure for Cassian Andor. And she's a tough, hard-nosed broad who is just kick-ass, and I really like that character so far as well. Okay, now on to the bad. One of my biggest issues is the 3 episodes used to open the series are really, really pushing this idea of moving slow to set up a story. I was watching some of the other YouTubers do reactions, and they actually watched all 3 episodes in one sitting, or at least some of them did. And what they had to do is shorten those highlights that they were reacting to and showing on YouTube. And the thing was, they were able to show all those highlights together, and it seemed like those would have been a perfect 1-hour episode. that would have covered everything that happened in the first 3 episodes. So they were able to sprinkle enough of everything that happened to keep you interested. And man, if they would cut that together, I think they'd have a great first episode for Cassian. Also, we have the first 3 episodes, and the first real action sequence really only happens at the end of episode 3, when basically you have the protagonists and antagonists coming together as Cassian is trying to escape. So why is he trying to escape? And here's where some spoilers are going to come in. So be aware of that. Basically, the show starts off, Cassian is looking for someone. He says it's his sister. We don't know if he's really looking for his sister or not. But he ends up on a planet, and he ends up accidentally killing a guard. Basically, you might say it was self-defense. It was an accident. Only problem is, then he kills the guard's partner completely in cold blood. All right. Now, I don't have a problem with this. They already set Cassian Andor up as not being really the nice guy in Rogue One. Okay, he killed that spy who was giving him information but had gotten injured and wasn't going to be able to get away, so he shot the guy. So he has some of that cold-bloodedness in him, and so that's okay. That's fine. The guards were crooks, so the security chief actually left orders to make up a cover story because they were crooks doing things they weren't supposed to. His assistant security chief, or at least that's what we'll call him, defies his orders, and he goes basically on this all-out crusade to find Cassian. And when he does, he's going to end up losing tons of men defying the boss's orders, because basically at the end of the 3rd episode, he goes to arrest Cassian, and all hell breaks loose, and the fighting starts. And if that isn't enough, Cassian is actually going to have the opportunity to blow the assistant security chief's brains out. He actually points the gun to his head, and then basically we don't know what's said. It skips to basically the guys looking up in the air watching Cassian escape. But considering what he did to the first guard, this makes no sense. There is no reason why he shouldn't have finished off this character. His name is Cyril. I think Cyril Karn or Cyril Cam. I would have to go back and look at that. But basically, Cassian and Luthen together fight those security forces. They're going to be able to escape. And we all know this Cyril character is going to continue his crusade because Cassian has made him look stupid now. So, kill him, get rid of him, all's going to be good. Now you just have more problems. Add to that some backstory on Cassian, and the rest was just basically filler. And it took them almost 2 hours to tell that story in 3 episodes. Now, my biggest issue is that this is Star Wars, but there's very little evidence of Star Wars. Basically, nothing about the Empire. I think there were a couple of shots of stormtroopers, nothing really big, no Star Destroyers, no planets, no Jedi, no Republic for the most part. If they want to do something totally new, I respect that. Do that. But when we know this is about the formation of the Rebel Alliance, why do you waste most of your first 3 episodes and not even mention it? Sometimes I just get the feeling that Star Wars is trying too hard. They have a simple, good concept, and they keep blowing it. I like the idea of introducing new characters and new worlds and moving away from what we all know. But sometimes the writers and the directors and the producers, and apparently Kathleen Kennedy, forget where they came from. When you're making a new series with a new vibe and you're wanting to introduce new ideas, it still has to be interesting. And I'm going to tell you, There is not much interesting to me about this show so far. To finish this review, I'm going to give I'm going to give Andor, the first 3 episodes, a D. It's going to get a D because of those positives I mentioned. Overall, the episodes are not very interesting. I hope they do get better. Their 3rd episode saw some improvement, so if they can improve off of that episode, I'll be feeling a lot better. Now, that brings our 5th episode of the Fandom Realm to an end, so do me a huge favor and subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave us some comments, and we will see you next time here on the Fandom Realm.